everybody. Welcome back to Everyone's Addicted. Today's guest, Thomas, has graciously come on to share his experience and knowledge with addiction and mental health. So I'm going to welcome Thomas and let him take it away.
I thank you. I guess the start a little about me is I was born with a disability. I grew up in foster care and I was adopted at age 12. Most of my life, people told me I was stupid, would go nowhere in life, but being a kid going to foster care, I believed them, but after I was adopted, I had a support system around me where my parents, new family, and friends believed in me, and they said I could do what I wanted to, go where I wanted to, be as big as I wanted to be. So I decided to do that. I graduated high school with a regular diploma. I went to college and got a bachelor's degree in business management. I I moved out on my own and I just keep climbing what I call success mountain, showing those people that said I would never be nothing, that I'm way more than what they thought I could be.
You're like the underdog where everybody was telling you, no, you're never going to be able to succeed, but you kind of like smashed through that glass and said, nope, I am going to do it
Yeah,
regardless of how hard it is.
yeah, and what I kind of keep going every day, just trying to get into something new, something bigger, make it a bigger and better future than what it could be today or yesterday. Tomorrow, just a bigger and better than what it could be. You just have to put your mind to it, man, and focus on it and work towards what you really want in life.
And what helped you to get this positive outlook from going from having people saying such horrible things, it does like create negative thoughts in your mind. What changed it to be positive for you?
A big part of it was having the parents, the new parents, and family that believed in me and treated me basically like everyone else and said I could be what I want to be. And then it's also just I set my mind to I wanted better in life. So I was gonna go for it no matter what. If I fell on my face, I fell on my face, or if I became the best looking person in the world, that's who I became. I decided that I'm not gonna let my limits define who I'm gonna be anymore.
And how old were you when you became adopted?
When I got adopted, I was about 11 or 12.
Oh, so you lived in foster care for a long time.
Yeah, I went to foster care at age 3, and then I went back to my biological dad, which me and my brother had the same dad, same mom, different dads, but we went to foster care together. We were adopted together, so
Well, that's
we had
funny.
we had that connection that kept us together, which was the good part of it.
Well, I feel like that, you said, with if you didn't have that support system, you probably would have been sent down a depression spiral. Do you know what I mean? Because you don't have anybody
Yeah.
to support you. And I know that feeling of feeling alone with no support. And even those 11 years where you were kind of alone without the support, it must have been really, really difficult just to um figure out who you were as a person, right? Like, I like, was that a huge struggle until you found family was kind of dealing with who you felt you were opposed to how people treated you?
Yeah. Yeah, see, one, I don't know many people know, but a lot of kids in foster care, they go up to have, a lot of them go up to have a mindset that the world is out to get them, to make their life horrible and just not allow them to be amazing, which in a way I call the brighter path, where I didn't think the world was against me. I was gonna be what I was gonna be no matter what. But my brother, he kinda he kept in that position that the world had to get him and just kinda distanced himself from everyone. It just kept that mindset that, hey, the world has to get me, so I'm not gonna put in work. But hey,
A lot
that's
of pe-
what
a
that's
lot of
what fucking
people
does.
Well, a lot of people go into foster care, and probably even your family go into foster care due to either a parent's addiction or a parent's lack of financial stability, right? So I feel like that's
Yeah.
where the poor me mentality comes in, is, oh, my mom was an addict, so she couldn't take care of me, right? Where your mindset was, oh, my mother had her issues and couldn't take care of me, but that doesn't define who I am. And your brother went the opposite way and let it define him. And who
Yeah.
do you think's happier in life, right?
And I think we're both happy. We just were happy in a different way.
Yeah. What do you do now? Like, do you do any like like speaking engagements or online classes on how to be positive through really rough times or anything like that?
Right? When I graduated, well, it was either about a year before or when I graduated college. I started doing web design, like my own business, where I created websites for companies, but that didn't really bring in the income I needed. So I wanted to take a step back and focus on what my reasoning and passion for being on earth, for being in this world. And I thought back to people saying they love my story, they love the way I speak, and they wanted me to get out there and just share with people that they can have a bigger and better future and not limit themselves
It
like
doesn't
every.
matter where you started from. It matters what you do to make yourself and make your life what you want it to be.
Yes,
And from somebody like you that has been in foster care for so long, and plus your health challenges and your family challenges, you definitely have a very, very optimistic outlook. So I can see why people would want you to be a speaker, because I think people would leave being super inspired by that. Because even with me, I'm going through a negative situations in my life, but nothing like what you've had to overcome. So it humbles people, and it inspires people that they can have the strength to do it too, because we all have that inner strength. Sometimes we need to hear it from somebody else to click into it.
Yes.
Do you,
I
and
also,
where
I
do
uh,
you speak? Do you speak at schools? Do you speak?
I I speak at a bunch of conferences. I spoke to a couple businesses groups, and I think I spoke in one or two schools, and just try and make my way. Most of my speaking, because I live in Florida, is around Florida. But about a little few months ago, I broke out of Florida into like different state, and I did my first speaking thing in Michigan. Where I spoke at one of the great conferences up there. So I'm trying. It's one of those things that I never thought it would grow, but I've kept at it and I'm making it grow, and it's just becoming better than what I thought it would be.
Well, because it's so inspirational, right? Like there's people that have like a story to tell. We all do. It's our lives, right? But your story is one of inspiration and one of overcoming the hardest of hardships. So somebody complaining that their ex was addicted to drugs, and she found out and left him, but it didn't affect the family in any way. That isn't going to inspire somebody, I guess, in the same way as if they hear a story of somebody with your health limitations and family background, spending 11 years in foster care and then getting adopted, and then actually finding the support and turning it around and being able to use it, and then having speaking engagements where people hear this kind of a story, and like I said, it brings inspiration and strength to those who need it the most.
Yes. What I like to think about, because thing everyone has addiction.
Yes, they
My
do.
my addiction, I like to think, is a bigger and better future
But
that
that's
I
a good addiction.
that I'm not
Workaholic,
giving up.
there you go.
Yeah, I'm a workaholic. Um I'm going to future. That's where my addiction lies.
You're a fighter and you want to fight to get your story out and help as many people as you possibly can. And you're fighting that fight and really showing people that you can overcome anything and become anything. And it's so true. Like, that's what I mean by why it's so inspirational. Just talk to somebody like it's true. You can really overcome anything and become anything. You really can. And like, no matter what, it's just all about human strength of mind. And coming, like you say, you have a workaholic addiction, coming from a background of generational addictions and stuff. At least yours is a positive one.
Yes, I
It's
also,
positive.
yes, also along the lines of speaking, I also wrote a book which they call the Squeaky Wheelchair,
Oh,
and
the
the book,
squeaky wheelchair. I'm sorry, I'm going to say it
yes,
again because this is going to be on television. The squeaky wheelchair is the name of his novel,
yes,
by Thomas Moon.
yes, and basically it talks about the disability world, about like the different obstacles we face, but also it goes into about just life in general. how we all have our struggles in life and how we can all get through them if we do the right thing, we put our minds in the right place, we surround ourselves with the right people, and we just don't give up. And that's kind of, I figured that was a good reason to write the book
I
and
think
get it.
so. There's not a whole lot of understanding in that area either.
Yes,
So that
I
is definitely something that I think people would want to read to get the understanding and get like there's two things of understanding. People that have never been in foster care are not going to understand it, and people who've never had a disability aren't going to understand it. So you have two major obstacles that you explain to people, and I think that it's something that people need to read because I want to understand better. Like my mother-in-law, she has handicapped people live in her house with her. So my children have a really good understanding of handicapped people. My mom used to take me to Special Olympics bowling and stuff, but there's still a lot of people who don't, and they look upon you in a different way. And since do you have a website or anything either?
yes,
While I think about it.
my website and my actually the link to my book, which the book is on Amazon, but you can get all that information to my website. And my website is www.disabilityspeaker.org.
Okay, so www.disabilityspeaker.org.
Yes.
Just so everybody hears it again, because like I said, I just want to make sure well, I remembered if you ever wanted to get in contact with him about anything, that's how you can do that. And do you have a YouTube channel?
I guess that the YouTube channel is under, it's weird. I guess they put it under TJ Wheelchair.
Okay, wheelchair. Okay, perfect. I will say that again. If you want to see any videos that he has, you can go to YouTube and it's under TJ Wheelchair. I just want you guys to, if you want to reach out or if you want to see what he does, because he is a very inspirational, or if you want, like, if you want to, there's just so much with Thomas to me that I feel humbled to be able to talk to somebody who can sit there and have accomplished so much and gone through so much and think about, oh, my problems, oh, their little problems. Well, I never had to overcome all of this. So that's why I'm trying to help promote the novel for understanding and the website and the podcast for speaking engagements, because you definitely would be a great speaker if you're looking for somebody that's going to lift your spirits and help you feel, like you have strength, because he has strength. Do you want to tell everybody what all the disabilities are that you have, just so they can see what you've actually overcome challenge
My,
wise?
my main disability, because well, back then they didn't really know what I had. But they first said I had what they call Joubert, I don't know, say Joubert syndrome, which the doctor that finally decided that's not what I had. And it's like trainees and stuff coming to the room where I was sitting and gonna do tests to see if I like had the symptoms of Joubert syndrome, and I didn't. So basically, they kind of they put a lot of people because they don't know what the disability is. They kind of put them in the category of cerebral palsy because cerebral palsy is the brain,
Yeah.
where the brain doesn't connect quite as well to the body, like the muscles making doing things like everyone.
Slower responses to things like that.
Yes. So what basically my kind of downfall thing is my disability would be like my physical function isn't the same as a lot of people. My brain works really good. Well, and I like to think it does.
It's
But
working faster than your muscles are allowing you to express, right?
yes, but I every day I go to physical therapy. I go to the gym and I try to work out as much as I can. So my muscles just don't give out on me.
Mm-hmm.
So I still have something, but
So you
it's
have like
not.
a regular routine within your healthcare, and it's like just like mental health. You have to have a routine with your mental health care. It's the same thing. Now, do you have to do anything with mental health care, or are you just doing the
Um,
physical?
well, I feel like I work with it because with motivational, what I'm talking about is it's kind of a lot to do with the mind. But because of my situation, I have it's a little bit of mind stuff, but it's more physical than mine.
Hmm.
But I know many people. I've been so many have friends with like mental things with autism. One another one, a bunch of other like where it affects the brain more.
Yeah,
But
my
I
cousin's
think what
autistic and he is similar. He's really, really smart, but he can't get it out fast enough. So it's always in here because he can't get it out here. He can talk and not like he has any issues with talking. It's just he like with you, he can't say it fast enough and he's very mechanical and very organized, very routine oriented, you know? And like I just want people to understand, right, that you've had these limitations and you've overcame them to be able to do what you do now. And even a lot of people are afraid of public speaking. Like, oh, that's a huge phobia,
it
fear, right? And the
is.
fact that you can go out there and do that on all on your own, in itself is another feat, I guess you could say. And you go out there and you tell this story, and people are probably dumbstruck.
It's tell you the story. Is I used to be like the non-verbal shyest person you ever knew. But over the years, I just grew where now you can't shut me up. And I just get out there and just speak what I need to speak and say what I need to say and just live my life.
And with speaking engagements, what was it like for your first time? Were you like really, really nervous?
I,
Tell me about your first time doing it. I
yeah,
want to hear that.
my first time it was back then, it was like 15, 20 years ago when I had my first thing. And I still felt kind of shy. I was nervous, and it's kind of, it was one of those things that I didn't want to be up there in front of the audience and just totally bomb and look stupid and just kind of like it'd be not worth even doing it. But when I got up there, I basically had some people in the crowd, friends and family, that I can kind of focus on. That
Mm-hmm.
gave me like a comfortable feeling that, hey, you have that nervousness, but get through it and you can get on and just share what you need to share and try to inspire people like you want to do. And then that mind of nervousness, it took a few minutes, to get over it. But when I finally got over it, things just smoothly, like it moved forward easily.
Well, that's how you know you were where you were meant to be, right? That
Yes.
you felt comfortable within minutes, and you knew to focus on your family at first just to calm yourself down. So it's kind of like your body's like, nope, this is where you're supposed to be. And you've been doing this for 20 years. That's a long time.
And about 15, 20, I started at the biggest like disability conference in Florida. It's called the Family Cafe, where they is biggest disability, where they talking about all things to do with the disability community, no matter what disability you have. And I started doing that kind of for free and just doing free stuff. But a few years ago, I decided, hey, I'm tired of doing this for free. I want to get paid for it.
Well, you
I
have to
want,
make a living somehow, right?
I gotta, I gotta make some kind of income to pay my bills. So I
Mm-hmm.
decided, hey, I'm gonna start charging to come and speak and make a difference. And to me, the money I charge, the money is to help me pay the bills. But I do what I do not because of the money. I do it because it's in my heart and I care to make the world better.
Well, you could like obviously because you could just live off disability and not do an act like you know what I mean and not
Yeah.
speak. So it's clear that it's a passion of yours and it's clear that you're somebody that kind of has the keys, right? The
Yeah.
keys to the, success in a way because I never heard anybody overcome as much as you to get to that point where you've wrote a novel and you've been a speaker for about 15 or 20 years. Like that's very inspirational and it's like like that's what it was obviously what you were meant for. It was like the second you got adopted, life shifted, you know?
Yeah. Well,
So again, what was the name of your book?
the book is called The Squeaky Wheelchair.
The book is A Squeaky Wheelchair, and then the website.
Okay. The website is www.disabilityspeaker.org.
So www.disabilityspeaker.org.
Yep.
So, do you
Yes.
have one last thing that you want to say to everybody before I let you go? One last
Um,
little tidbit
a,
of inspiration.
a good little ending is a little bit of motivation and action each day will make your life shine brighter than the sun's rays.
I like that. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing everything. Like I said, very humbled by talking about you and kind of puts my life's issues into perspective. So thank you so much. And I might come get back in touch with you because I like to come back and get in touch with people that are the most inspiring to me. So I'll say goodbye for now, but not forever.
All right.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.